Happy Pride, everyone! Welcome to Queerly Recommended, the podcast where we recommend queer books, films, TV shows, and more. I'm Kris Bryant, a contemporary romance writer for Bold Strokes Books, and this week I'm recommending a movie.
And I'm Tara Scott. I review sapphic fiction at the Lesbian Review and Smart Bitches Trashy Books. And this week I'm recommending a very cute contemporary sapphic romance.
Yay!
All right, Kris, what is going on?
Well, on SAS, we had our second writing session. It was on a weekend, and it was really a success. And it was great because we
Yay!
had 2 or 3 writers that were overseas, so they were able to participate. So we are trying our best to try different times so that everybody from all around the world can join if they are able to.
So how does it work?
We set up a Zoom time. Usually we make it for an hour. We do it for exactly 1 hour, and we kind of set goals for ourselves. And then we just write. And sometimes we bounce questions off one another if we have a question, or sometimes we just stare at each other and write. Sometimes you just write. Sometimes, no, it's just fun. It's just like you're holding yourself and other people accountable like we used to do way back when Twitter was cool. And it was just like a shout out, hey, I'm going to do some a writing sprint. Who's in? We do that. So now we just do it online. And it's actually kind of fun because we write for 60 minutes and then we discuss afterwards kind of like what we're writing on for about another 20, 30 minutes if you want to. You can leave if you want to. I mean, it's come and go.
Yeah.
So it's just been very successful, and I'm very happy that we're doing this, and it seems to help people. So we're going to keep doing it. I love it.
That's awesome. So if people want to, if there are other authors listening who want to check it out or sign up for it, where can they go to learn more?
So the best place to find us, I know this is terrible, but Facebook. It has the SAS page, which stands for, Tara, help me out, Sapphic Action Support Squad.
Yeah, that one. We're
That
recording this on a Monday evening.
It is a Monday.
Neither of us have a lot of brain.
It's been a Monday. Yes.
So, I do love that we're in the place where we're like, fuck Facebook, but that's where it is.
That's where it is because it's, we Discord, people are still kind of getting used to things. It just seems like everybody's really familiar with Facebook, and that's where the group is for now. The newsletter is on a different platform, and people can sign up from the Facebook page. So you'll have 4 questions you have to answer. Basically, it's not, you can just come on in, and it's amazing. So I get to be the one that approves people, and you have to answer the questions. I know if you don't answer the questions, you're not coming in, because I have had some bots already.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Rob with the American flag in the background.
Yeah, he definitely wants to join the Sapphic
Rob
Action
wants
Support
to join,
Squad.
and he, he's a military guy, and he's in 160 other groups. So, I do deep dives. I will find out if you're a real person. If
he
I
loves
do not
Jesus
know
in
you,
his country,
right? And yes, and he's from Alabama.
Oh, sure. Yeah, he's definitely not lost.
So I'm like, decline. So that was a no. So there aren't too many no's, but, I usually give enough time for people to answer the questions. They're real simple questions, like, do you agree to be nice to people in the group? I mean, it's very nice. Just be nice, be kind, be gentle. Yeah, don't be rude. Respect everybody.
Yes.
That kind of thing. So it's growing. It's nice. I kind of like it. We're getting ready to drop the second newsletter. I'm actually getting ready to work on an interview with somebody who's going to go more in depth on marketing for writers. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
When's the next one coming out?
I think it's June 14th.
Nice.
I think that's the day that we came up with. Right now, everybody's kind of on vacation mode. Some people are taking vacations. Some people are, working on school, finishing up school, that kind of stuff. So we haven't had a group meeting in a couple of days, so I need to figure that out. But I'm almost sure it's June 14th. So reach out to me if you want to sign up for the newsletter. We'll actually probably post the link here in the show notes. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. And in case you're interested, I also did something for this next one.
Yes, you did.
I interviewed the author Jay, and we talk about all things AI, Amazon, how to support authors, and catfishing.
Oh, catfishing's the worst.
It's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
Jay's been keeping on top of everything with her blog and her Facebook group and
Hmm.
just making sure people are aware of the issues for our community. So yeah, it was
Right.
super interesting to sit down with her and just get caught up on some of these issues. So yeah, definitely make sure you sign up for the SAS newsletter and we'll have a link in the show notes.
Queen J,
Isn't she the best?
for sure. For sure.
And then what's the latest with your book that you've been working on?
I got the epilogue done in time.
Yay!
So my book will have an epilogue, and it puts
Mhm.
it, of course, my editor will trash about 5,000 words, but right now it's considered a long book because it's over 85,000 words.
Hmm.
That has only ever happened once.
Which one?
Always.
Mm.
That was over 85,000, and that was a long
Mhm.
book. But I'm sure that by the time it's done being edited, it'll drop down to mid-length romance, which is fine.
I feel like spending more time reading fanfic has really been messing with my
It
perception of
has,
whether
right.
books are long or not.
Yes.
Because I also don't typically read the short stories. I mean, I might occasionally, especially if it's an author that I really happen to like. But like, I've realized I had just grabbed a bunch of fanfics and thrown
Mhm.
them on my Kindle, and I'm going through and I was like, what the hell? I put two on there that have more than 400,000 words. And I'm like,
I know the fanfic
what?
is killing me.
How? There's another one that if I read this one, it will have been the longest one I'll have ever read. It has more than 700,000 words, to
Stop
which
it.
I'm
That's like
like,
all of my books put together.
how do you write
No.
700,000 words about anything, let alone
Right.
one story?
No.
It
That's
blows my
amazing. It is
mind.
literally amazing. It really is.
But also, I don't know if I'm going to read it. It has 700,000 words. So congrats on your long book. That sounds like a short book
Yay. Yeah,
compared
I
to
know.
fanfic.
Well, way to like pop burst my bubble. Thank you.
No, I think it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, hopefully it so here's something.
Mm,
Speaking of AI,
yes.
so because I'm done with my book and
Hmm.
my projects are done at work, and right now I'm waiting for the engineers to finish up some projects, I
Hmm.
decided to go ahead and maybe start working on like a little video because I like to do little videos
Hmm.
for my books. And so I went to Canva, and
Hmm.
they have like a whole bunch of AI stuff. So you just
Oh,
type in
yeah.
5 words and it'll like bring up, okay. Like I'm like twins with brunette, hair,
Hmm.
hot, 20 something, whatever, 30 something, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And so then like,
Safe
you
search.
know, so like, and so I'm learning how like AI is working. I have never in my life used AI for
Hmm.
anything, covers, any sort of anything. So literally, this is the very first time I've ever seen it, played with it, even knew it.
Hmm.
I mean, I knew it existed, but I stay away from it.
Hmm.
Because it's in our. We talked about this. Like this is a whole
Hmm.
thing. But I was really surprised that now it is everywhere. It is on everything that I open up, regardless. I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
everywhere. It's
Yes.
it's on Google when I open it up, like Copilot. It's everywhere.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Google made their products suck so bad that it almost doesn't matter that they're cannibalizing themselves with the AI results because Google's barely usable. If that's something that people are interested in, go check out Ed Zitron, Zitron. He's a tech writer. His blog is on hosted on Ghost. I think it's called Where's Your Ed At? If you look up that or his podcast Better Offline and you look up his stuff about the man who ruined Google, and it's so fascinating because it's this like growth at all costs mentality in commerce and especially in tech. So like a number has to go up all the time. And for them, the number that had to go up was searches. So how do you make the number go up? You make your product worse. So you have to do more searches.
Oh,
But now everybody knows that their product sucks. And so it's like, well, how do we get the actual information? Well, maybe AI will get it for me. It's so dumb. But yeah, the way it's being built into so many things,
it's.
I'm sorry, you activated the rabbit hole in my
I
brain because
know.
I'm at this interesting part in my journey with it where I have stopped resisting using it at work. I
Okay.
fundamentally believe it should not be used for, like, I'm sorry, but if you make AI art, you're not actually an artist.
Right.
You're creating, you're getting the computer to put the pixels in certain rows for you, but having done it off the backs of stolen work from
Right. Right.
artists.
Right.
Same thing with like, if you wrote your book using AI, you didn't write your book.
No.
You got that done for you. I don't believe in using it for art. I don't use it for my outlines for this podcast. I don't use it
Mhm.
for anything for the book reviews that I write. But for work, I've had to accept that I need to learn how to use it because it is an expectation for people in my job. And I'm a middle-aged woman. And so staying
You're
employable,
not. You're 39.
I'm a baby.
You're just a
But,
baby.
but like to be able to stay employable, it's something I have to figure out.
Mhm.
But I'm also trying to like stay balanced on this. So I don't just think like, oh, it's amazing and it's doing everything. And so I'm listening
Right.
to a book and it's pretty new. And I'm going to talk slower while I open Spotify because I have a premium Spotify account, which means that I get 10 hours of audiobook listens a month. And so I mostly use them for nonfiction books because nonfiction is poison for my brain. I cannot read it with my eyeballs, but it's called
Oh.
The AI Con by Emily Bender and Alex Hanna. And it's really interesting. And I really like sort of how they lay the groundwork in it kind of upfront in reminding us that like AI has been around for a long time. Like if you think about spell check
Right.
in, products where you're
Word.
composing
Yeah.
things,
Hmm.
if you think about the recommendation engine in Netflix or Spotify, those are AI. There's all kinds,
Hmm.
but now when we say AI is everywhere, we usually mean some kind of generator, whether it's a text-based one like large language models or these like video generators or image generators. And something when I was listening to it this morning that I was like, "Oh, damn." So it's sorry, we're just going to talk about this for a little while apparently.
I
But
just
I
want to
just
know, I can't use AI for my video. Is that what you're saying? No?
you Well, I mean, honestly, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you you can or can't. Were you planning on paying an artist to do it for you in the first place?
Actually, I was thinking of paying somebody who does videos to do a video for me for this,
Then my
but not
opinion is that
AI, but
you should pay somebody
I should pay somebody.
and
Okay.
not use AI. You could use AI for it, but like what if you
I
paid an
was just
artist?
like sitting around doing nothing,
I mean, it's
literally.
kind of mind-blowing and some of the stuff I've been able to train it to do, like I've been very clear with it at work saying like this is the type of job I do, this is the kind of thing I'm looking for. And even prompting it, like training it to say, I don't want you to just do work for me. I want to learn as I go because I'm getting it to help me with things that I don't know how to do. I haven't been able to do yet.
Okay.
And even being clear, like I have ADHD, and that means that it's hard for me to get into work sometimes. And so sometimes I'll use it and just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm having a hard time getting work done. I have this block of time, but I'm not focused. My brain is bouncing all over the place. And it gave me like a 3-minute exercise that was so good. And then I went in and I did work for 2 hours. But
Hmm.
also, I'm trying to keep in mind that, like,
It's going to
we,
control you.
well, no, the people at these companies, the whole point is that they want to put all of us out of work,
Right.
which is like not. I was about to do the middle finger, and then I was like, well, then I'm just doing that to you, and,
I know. And I'll
and
be like,
nobody
what
can
did
see
I
that. This is an
do?
audio podcast. There is no video component to this experience. But I think there's something super interesting in this book where they talk about how like we think of something like ChatGPT as being intelligent, which, has its own like weird eugenicsy things going on with it. Because when you look at the whole idea of intelligence and who is intelligent and not, it often is tied to like quote unquote race science, right? Like for some reason, white people were supposed to be more intelligent than, well, black people and Latine people and whatever. Like that's what a lot of the bullshit science around it said. And so a lot of that is being taken up by these like psychos in Silicon Valley. I'm paraphrasing wildly from this book. But like, why is it that ChatGPT is thought of as intelligent, but Canva's not?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody thinks that Canva is thinking when you're typing those prompts in and it's creating images.
Yeah. It was I said, like, do a flyby over the Hollywood sign.
Mm.
And so they would spell Hollywood Hollly wood, and then it was Holywood. So it's just all this like, let us know how we're doing. Let us know. I'm not going to help you. Like, no, I'm
Mm-mm.
not helping you.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying different things like have this cow have a curl
Mm-hmm.
down the front of, so all these things. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was really interesting. It was my first, I mean, obviously Word and all that other stuff, with
Sure.
spell check and
Sure.
stuff, but this is my first time actually playing with AI.
Yeah.
And yeah, so wow. Yeah. It was a surprise, but it was
Mm-hmm.
also kind of scary because so here's what I did. So I took when I finished the book, my
Mm-hmm.
book, Copilot says, "Would you like a summary of it?" They over here it says
Oh,
like a summary, and I'm like, "All right, let's see." Like I did it. I know I shouldn't have, but I did it.
sure.
And they gave me a summary in less than a minute. And not only was it a summary, but it had like the conflict, the prose, like the
Mm.
character growth. It had all of this stuff within a minute. Like it had like 7 different things. It was,
That's yeah, I mean,
I'll be out of a job in 2 years.
no. That's the thing that like I know there is this kind of belief that maybe like it is gonna do that, but at the same time, I don't I don't know, maybe some people will fall for that. I think it's likelier that rather than this is just me speculating, but like rather than people saying, "Oh, I'm going to go follow this like entirely AI based author on Amazon. Like I'm going to go buy all their books on Amazon." I don't think that's as likely to happen. If anything, it might be that people are putting prompts in for the story that they want to read. I don't know. Like the whole point of following authors is that they like their voice. Like if I read a book by you, and if I read a book, well, any authors really, like when I think about, say, I read 3 excellent books in a row not too long ago, right? I read the
Hmm.
new Claire Lydon, I read the new Claire
Right.
Ashton, and I read the new Rosalind Sinclair. And I loved all of them
Right.
for very different reasons that come down to the author's voice and the choices they make and just like their style and all that. I don't want books that sound like they were written by a golden retriever, quite frankly. And I know you can tell it to like change the tone and whatever, but
Oh, I didn't know you can tell it to, see, I just don't know enough about it.
oh yeah, somebody sent me, it was really funny actually. I don't know if you remember Jodelle.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so Jodelle was at GCLS last year. That's actually where I met her as well, even though she lives in the same city as me. And she sent me something on Instagram today that made me laugh. And it said, I just asked ChatGPT to write a note for my daughter's school absences, and I asked it to do so in the style of Moira Rose. And then it has a screenshot, which I'll read for you. My dearest school personnel, it is with a heavy heart that I inform you of my precious daughter's absence from the hallowed halls of enter school name. Alas, a feverish malady has befallen her delicate constitution, accompanied by a most distressing symphony of body aches. And it goes on from there, but it's pretty funny. Like, I do think it's fun to play. I do find it useful at work. I do also find it disheartening, though, because there is so much, like, there's so much that you get out of doing the work yourself when you can. Like, yeah, you
Mhm.
can use its deep research function to cut down on how long it takes to do research. But like how
Right.
much discovery comes in just doing the research itself, in going through the steps? Like a ton.
A ton. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because it's funny because like it takes forever to write the book and get it edited and then finally get it
Hmm.
put into the hands of readers, and then the readers get it done in like 3 hours and they're like, when's the next one?
I know. And you're like, bitches,
Ah, takes
I
forever.
got a job.
I gotta
I
work. I'm
I got things
trying.
to do. Yeah, it's not fair.
But I love it. I mean, I wish I could. I wish I could write all day, every day. I wish
Hmm.
that I could. And I just don't want to lose this because of AI.
No. No, that's where I think for readers, it's really important for us to continue interacting with authors, continue buying their books, continue following them on social media. Tell your friends when you love a book, review books. It's funny. It's a lot of it is what I say for like, oh, what should we be doing in the face of potentially like losing access to the literature that we love? It's kind of all the same. It's just different whether it's from like a democracy crumbling standpoint or, an AI taking over, which is actually kind of all part of the same project anyway.
Right.
I got to stop talking about this.
All right. We can move on.
No, the problem is if I don't stop myself, I could keep going and you're going to say, go away. So, right after we finished recording our last episode, we got an email from one of
Oh.
our listeners whose name is Karen. And so, Karen, I know I haven't responded to your email because I was saving it for this.
Oh.
She sent 2 questions for me.
What?
I know. I'm sorry.
What?
I know. So the first one, she said that she'd been listening to some of my old podcasts from the Lesbian Reviews old podcast network. So that's the show that I did called Let's Do Books when I was interviewing authors, which was how we met.
Yay.
There were a few episodes with us.
Go us.
And she said that I did an interview with Lola Keeley, which I remember talking to Lola Keeley. I don't remember what we talked about. It was a long time ago. And Karen says, you mentioned in that episode you had 600 books on your to-read list on Kindle. Now, I know that episode was a while ago. As of now, how many are on your Kindle to read list now?
Okay. What's the number? It's going to be higher.
First of all, how dare you?
Right.
Second of all, it's not all one list. It is not all one list. If I had to guess, I'm looking at my collections because I have a tendency to like over collect these things.
Oh, yes.
That I haven't read yet. Probably around or more than 1,500.
Dang.
I know. But in terms of what I have finished is also probably around 1,500.
Oh, yeah. See, that's good.
So I've read half the books on my Kindle. Come on, that's not bad.
That's good. That's real good.
It just happens that more than 1,000 of them are not read yet. And then the second question, because she had asked me before, did you join the Queer Liberation Library? And I was like, no, it asked for US email addresses. Somehow, Karen is in Australia and figured a way to get on there. And then I was like, hang on, as I went to try to sign up today. My friend Kris lives in the United States.
Hello.
And has a post box office. And so I think because it is Pride Month, it's a great time to remind people about the Queer Liberation Library.
Yay.
It's an online library. I believe it uses the same like Overdrive or Libby or whatever as anything else.
Ooh, they have a donate button.
They do have a donate button. And I'm pretty sure it's just like nothing but queer media. So it's about connect. Yeah, they say that their mission is that they fight to build a vibrant, flourishing queer future by connecting LGBTQ plus people with literature, information, and resources that celebrate the unique and empowering diversity of our community.
Nice.
So if you are in the US or you have someone in your life that is able to share an address in the US, this is not legal advice. I am not a lawyer. I don't know how this works. That seems like a pretty great resource to go check out. So thank you, Karen, for your question, because it was a great reminder that we should be telling people about it this month, especially if they're looking for another way to find queer media and maybe don't have, the money to spend to buy it.
Right.
Kris Bryant.
Yes.
What have you been reading or watching?
Everything is over and I'm sad.
Oh, buddy. Okay.
Survivor, The Last of Us, over, done. The Walking Dead, Dead City is coming to an end. It probably has like 1 or 2 episodes left, and it is not my favorite.
Oh, no.
It's kind of terrible. And again, being the loyalist, I'm watching it to the bitter end. Basically all of the offshoots of The Walking Dead are pretty terrible. Like Daryl's in France, and how did Carol find him? Like there's no travel. She just manages to find a pilot and a little tiny prop plane, and they get across, the ocean, and they get to France. I know.
In a prop plane?
Right, well, I mean, it's tiny little, I don't know what kind of Cessna, little tiny plane. And it's super weird. Like I can't find my sister at the same casino, and we have shared locations on our phone. But yet, like Carol, during an apocalypse, gets overseas and manages to run into Daryl. I mean, Europe is big, it's so I'm just like, how is this even possible? But okay, I'm a believer. But I do not like the Daryl Dixon series. I love Daryl. I do not like that he went to France. The whole thing confuses me. So anyway, but like, so how am I going to feed my apocalyptic, soul? Like, how am I going to feed it this summer? Because everything goes off, it's summertime. People expect you to be out, like, and I should be out kayaking and doing all that stuff, but like, it's like 90 degrees. Like, I had 4 days of spring, 4 days of
Audiobooks?
spring. There's audiobooks, but then like inside, I'm still inside. So yeah,
Audiobooks while you watch YouTube videos of outs of nature?
probably. I also started Sirens with Juliana Moore and Kevin Bacon, and I really don't know how I feel about it.
Huh, what is it?
It gives you a feeling like White Lotus. You don't really know what's going on, and it kind of has
Mm.
weird vibes. It's kind of creepy.
Mhm.
It's unsettling. That's the word. It's unsettling. It's not really
Oh,
creepy.
yeah.
It's just it's queasy. It's off. And remind me never to write anything that makes people feel queasy,
Okay.
because I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know anything about it. Here's the thing. So I turn on Netflix and it's like Sirens, the #1 show. Okay, I'll watch it. That is my problem. I don't do research. I just turn it on and watch it.
Mm. Mhm.
And so now I'm like watching it because I want to know what this is
Oh,
about.
no, because 'cause you're too loyal.
I know. Like Netflix must love me. Like, they have
Mhm.
stopped asking me, "Are you still watching this?" Because I know that I am, like, every time.
Oh my god.
So that's where I'm at. That's my relationship with Netflix. So,
Uh-huh.
let's see. I'm still watching Daily Jeopardy. It is still here and is still queer. So,
Mhm.
but
Very good. We like
right,
that.
yes. And right now, it's the Masters, Jeopardy Masters is going on, and I
Mhm.
can only hope that Victoria Gross wins. She's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And it's like,
Nice.
when she's up there, it's almost like she's just playing the game with Ken, because she's looking at Ken and she's like, "What is, Genesis? What is blah blah blah?" And she's so good. And she's just, it's. I hope she wins. I hope she wins.
Mhm.
It's just, I mean, $500,000. Give it to her. Just give it to her now. Like, let's not even
Mhm.
watch it. I mean, I think it's tonight. Is the maybe tonight and tomorrow. I don't really know, like, when the final matches are, but it's going to happen
Ooh,
soon, and then it's over. So then I go back to daily, but then that'll eventually be repeats. So I don't know what to do.
awful.
Yeah. So
Quite
that
rude,
is,
frankly.
yeah, I know. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna have to get the kayaks ready. Gonna have to get
Mhm.
the new car ready and figure out, like, I have to hook up the trailer. I
Oh,
haven't done
yeah.
that yet, so I have to bring the trailer up to the car and figure that all out. So
Mhm.
here's what I did. I did something I got my lesbian card today.
Nice. Congratulations. I know you've
Thank
been
you.
waiting a long time
I have
for
been waiting a very long time.
it.
So I would like to say, maybe I saw it on TikTok, maybe I didn't.
Mhm.
I don't know
Did you
if it
fold a
really
fitted
works.
sheet? Did you finally learn from that
No.
lesbian on TikTok?
So what I did was I took the blower, the leaf blower.
Mhm.
I took it downstairs to the dryer vent and I blew the hose. I blew all the shit that's in the hose outside. I blew it.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I hooked it back up and pushed the dryer back, and look at that. I
I'm
felt
being
like
such a
yeah.
grown up right now, not reacting to you talking about blowing the hose.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. You're terrible. You're terrible.
You
So, but
said it.
I was proud of myself. I was like, you know what? My clothes aren't drying. I need to figure out why. I
Mm,
bet you it's because I need to clean all the lint that's stuck in the stupid vent,
did it
whatever
work?
that thing. Yeah, a lot of it blew out. So I didn't start the dryer again though, because it was dinner time and then it was podcast time. So
Mhm.
I'll go down there here after this and see if it worked. But I'm sure
So
it did.
TBD.
Yeah,
I bet it did.
yeah, I'm sure. Come on.
Mhm.
Anyway, that has been my life. What have you been reading and watching and doing and all that good stuff?
Mhm. So, Drag Race All-Stars continues. This format with the brackets is
Mhm.
really fun and
Oh,
interesting.
good.
Having this, like, so we're gonna spend 3 episodes with 6 queens, 3 episodes with 6 queens, 3
Right.
episodes with 6 more queens. So we have the first set of 3 that advanced. There's 2 episodes in the second set, so I don't know who advances yet.
Mm.
I'm very curious to see how it goes. But this has been like really fun and kind of like freshening up the franchise. And so I'm glad they're doing it.
Good.
I'm really, really enjoying it. And then I mentioned on a recent episode that I loved Claire Ashton's new book. I even mentioned it about 10 minutes ago when I was going off about AI.
Tell us something new.
I know. I love discovering Nicola. And one of the things about it that I really enjoyed was just like, oh, these characters are both in their 50s. That's so interesting. And I was looking for other books with characters in their 50s, and the book Principal Decisions by Thea Belmont came up. That is a book from Ilva Publishing. I believe it came out a couple of years ago, and it's an erotic romance. I was like, well, let's try it. I also haven't read an erotic romance in God,
A while.
forever.
Yeah.
Like forever. I literally don't remember the last one that I'd read.
Was it mine? I was just kidding.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I think it might. I think it, not the first one. I think it might be the follow-up.
Oh, Not Guilty.
Yeah, I think it might be Not Guilty. So however long ago that came up would be the last one that I read. It's all told from the perspective of Vivian Carter. She's a professor. She's overworked. She's also raising, like with her sister, they're raising their niece together because the parents had died in a car accident.
Car wreck.
I know. It's like I kept reading books where parents died in a car
accident. It's always
accident.
the car wreck.
What's going on?
Boat. Let's have a boating wreck, an accident,
right?
Boating wreck, like yeah.
So they're, raising this teenager who just moody teenager, too busy at work, too busy in general. It doesn't seem like Vivian has a lot of friends. And her sister works at a bookstore, and she picks a book off the shelf, and this like business card for a dominatrix falls out. And she's like, well,
all right.
Maybe this is exactly, that's basically what she says. She's like, well, maybe this is an option, and goes, and there's, like the chemistry is there, and like something is kind of, there's this like tension because she feels things that she maybe doesn't want to feel, like especially vulnerability, but also it's like nice to get some kind of because there's not even like in the first scenario, they don't have sex, like there's no orgasms or anything like that, but there's still this like emotional release, and that's like a big scary thing. And they're sort of starting to kind of find their way, and then it turns out that the dominatrix is the principal at her niece's high school. That's... Which she figures out when she gets called to the office when her niece gets in trouble for something. I had a good time with this book. I believe it's the author's first, and there were some interesting things happening with Vivian and her journey. Like, why is she so closed off? What is it that she wants? What is like Celine, like what's her story? And we learned some of that. And then I was I picked up and sorry, you had your hand up?
No. I was just,
okay. You're gesturing.
Moving my hands. Okay. I'm just moving my hands.
No. Kris Bryant in the back of the room. Would you like to know?
I was just moving my hands. Sorry.
So I finished that book, and I was looking for something else, and I picked up and put down a couple of books. I've got to say, I think it was really tough. Like the blessing and curse of reading those 3 books back to back that I loved so much is that now everything gets compared to those 3 books.
Right.
And they're all different enough from each other too, that it's all it means is like high, super, super, super high bar.
Right.
Like 3 of my top reads of the whole year. I know it already.
Boom, boom, boom. Yep.
Hey, everybody else. Good luck. So yeah, I picked up and put down a couple of books. I'm not going to mention them because I actually don't think it would be fair. I don't think they were bad books at all. It's just that challenge of, do you ever have this where you read a book and you get to the end and you're like, well, that was a book.
Yep.
It was indeed a book.
Yes. I get angry though. Sometimes I get angry if I'm like, come on, like time is precious.
I'm a lot quicker to bail on them at this point.
See, and you know me.
Completionist to the end. See, if I did that, then I would have nothing to recommend episode after episode because I would be stuck plodding through these other books. But when I was talking to Jay for that interview, I can't remember if it was during the interview or afterwards, she happened to mention the author Anna Stone. And I went, oh, right, Anna Stone. Her new book looked interesting, and I forgot to go pick it up because it was when I heard about it, it was before it was released. And so it's called Boss of Her. It's another erotic romance. And I was like,
Oh,
well,
look at you.
sure,
2 in a row.
we're just gonna read 2 in a row. Exactly. And so she's writing a series that's based in LA. This is the second book in the series that's all set
Oh, okay.
around Club Velvet, which is this like exclusive BDSM club for
Yeah.
sapphic women. So Jade Fisher kind of like grew up in a small town. She came to LA for grad school. She's just finished grad school. She's looking for work and she gets a job working for Simone Weiss, who is like a hotel mogul. Or she
That's
doesn't
hilarious.
have the job just yet. She's going in for the final interview the next day. But she goes to Club Velvet because her friend talks her into it. And when she gets there, she meets this like,
Good
well,
friend.
first she meets this woman who's awful, who's like, I know what you want. She's like, you really don't. She's like, yes, I do. She's like, go away. And then this woman is not going away. And then in swoops this like gorgeous, commanding woman who's like, get the fuck out. And well,
Mm.
not like that, much
Oh.
classier than that, because
Mm.
she's very classy. She's like, you get the fuck out and you're not welcome back, because she's one of the co-owners
Oh.
and says, like, I could show you around, maybe. And
Oh.
Jade has this, like, I'm very tempted, but also I gotta go. This is too much. It's too overwhelming. I got a big day tomorrow. And leaves. And then when she goes for the interview, guess who it is? With
Oh, drum roll, please.
the hotel mogul is a part owner of Club Velvet. And so
Woo.
they kind of have this conversation that's like, yeah, okay, we met each other, we know each other, we know what the deal is. Let's leave that in the past and that will be fine. You are going to be my assistant for the next 3 months while my current assistant is on maternity leave. Let's just be
Mm.
grown-ups. And yes, they decide to just be grown-ups, but also they kind of can't really ignore the chemistry that they have. And then they decide that like maybe sex is the answer. The thing with this one is boss and employee romances are tricky and definitely hit
Right.
different for different people after
Right.
Me Too. And I think you just have
Mhm.
to decide if you're okay with it or not. Like, are you okay with this premise or are you not okay with it? It's just a book. I was fine with it. It was,
Yeah, I'm okay with it too.
yeah, like it's especially because I didn't feel like Simone was creepy. Like, I think that also makes a
Right.
big difference.
Right.
Like, if the boss is super creepy and cornering them into something
Yeah, that's
and
different.
like using the power imbalance so that they have no
Mhm.
choice, that I don't like.
Right, that's totally different than consensual. Look, I'm an adult, you're an
Mhm.
adult. I'm not gonna hold this over you. Like, what did I watch where that was a whole thing? It was like a whole series. It was on Netflix. It was a whole series just like this. Ugh! And it was a medical thing. It was a medical thing. And I probably talked about it. It was a woman and she filed a lawsuit against the guy she loved. I can't remember, but I was just like,
Whoa.
why am I watching this? Like,
Yeah.
and then she
Because you
dropped the
watch to
lawsuit.
the end.
Yeah. And I don't remember what it was called. Anyway, I'm sure somebody out there knows what it is. And they're probably like screaming out the name right now. But
Hmm.
yeah, and I just I mean, yeah, I have feelings about that. We'll move
Hmm.
on. We'll move
Yeah.
on.
I thought this was fun. I had a fun time with it. I
Good.
also think there's something interesting happening with both of these characters. Like they both have really good reasons for being quite guarded.
Mhm.
And, the agreement kind of initially is we'll do the Dom sub thing, but like romance isn't it for us. Like that's not something that we actually want. And so it's also one of those stories where they both learn how to, open their hearts to love. It's sexy and it's sweet and I had fun with it. And I don't think I've
Yay.
read very much from this author, but I would check out more for sure. Like I forgot that I had signed up for Kindle Unlimited a few months ago.
Oh,
And
like what's more at 1500 plus unlimited?
right? Why not?
Why
Oh,
not?
listen, I know it's so bad. It's like that whole, I have a whole closet full of clothes. I have nothing to
Right. And then to
wear. I
wear.
have
I know, that's me. I have
nothing.
nothing to wear, nothing except this black
I,
t-shirt.
right. Oh my God,
It's
it's the worst.
me.
So yeah, Boss of Her by Anna Stone, I thought was quite fun. It's the second book in the series about Club Velvet, and it literally doesn't matter if you've read the other one or not.
Yeah,
In fact, I wonder if they might all be happening in the same timeline.
that's cool. Yeah.
That's the sense I got, because only one of the leads from the other book is in it, because I think it's like all of the co-owners of the club are each going to have their own romance. But that one is it's a nanny romance.
I love a nanny
So here's the funny
romance.
thing. I typically am not into them, but I really liked yours.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I really like that one too.
It was super fun. So, all right, Kris, what
Yes.
is your official recommendation this week?
Okay, my official recommendation is a movie that is still in theaters, but it can't be rented online through your cable provider. It is a movie called On Swift Horses.
Okay, what is
Okay.
this? Are there horses?
So I love this movie. There was a horse. Now that you
Yay!
mention
All
it, there
right.
was a horse, but it was towards the end of the movie, and it was a symbol more than anything.
Mm,
It's one of those where you don't think about it till the very end. You're like, oh, that's what that means.
mm-hmm.
So the synopsis. In the 1950s, a seemingly sensible newlywed and her wayward brother-in-law undertake parallel journeys of risk, romance, and self-discovery. First of all, great cast.
Okay.
Super great cast. I was like, oh, she's in it. Oh, he's in it. So here's the breakdown of the cast.
Okay.
Daisy Edgar Jones plays Muriel, and she was in Where the Crawdad Sings.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the main in that, and she was also in Twisters.
Okay. Good for her.
Will Poulter plays Daisy's boyfriend, fiance, and then husband, and his name is
Mm-hmm.
Lee. He's been in so much. Like his IMDb page is so much. He's never really been the main character, but he's a really strong secondary character in movies like The Maze Runner, and he was in We're the Millers. So he's like
Mm-hmm.
freckly, kind of nerdy, but now he's an
Yeah.
adult and he doesn't look like that. And then Jacob Elordi, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. He plays Julius, and he was in Euphoria and a movie that I recommended earlier, Saltburn. And so he's like
Mm-hmm.
the tall, gorgeous, hunky dude. So he played a perfect guy for, 1950s. Like that was right
Yeah.
up his alley. I didn't know much about this movie. I kind of spoke into the magic remote and I'm like, hey, it's Pride Month, like coming up. Like, what are some good LGBTQ movies? I was like, okay, let's see what this is. So I just played it. Like I bought it, I rented it. And the movie starts and like Julius is thumbing. He's like hitchhiking down some dirt
Mm.
road, and you're like, okay, what's this kid's story? He's not a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but he finally gets to his brother's. I have to say this right because the relationship starts out as girlfriend, boyfriend, and then they get engaged, and then, Muriel and Lee get married. So he's
Mm-hmm.
trying to get to see his brother who is living with his girlfriend at this house in Kansas. So he gets there and they have a moment. So she's upstairs, she excuses herself and she goes to the bathroom. And she's already lying to her boyfriend, fiance, whatever, because she opens up the medicine cabinet and she has like a tampon box. And she pulls out cigarettes and so she's smoking. She opens up the window. She's secretly
Mm-hmm.
smoking and she opens up the window and she's smoking. And then she doesn't realize that Julius is down below. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, can you throw me one? And so she's like, like
Mm-hmm.
this is the brother, but he doesn't like squeal on her. So like they already have like some relationship already going, like a secret type relationship going. And you're just like, but that's kind of cool in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of like drawn to each other, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm thinking, holy crap, they're gonna hook up. Like this is bad. He's hot, she's really attractive, and Lee's completely oblivious to everything. Like they dance together, they're super close, and he's just like, oh, it's my brother. Hey, let's all of us dance, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, this guy is just dumb. Like he just doesn't understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the way I look at it is like, how some people come along and they do something or they say something that knocks down the wall that you have between your true self and the rest of the world. That doesn't happen very often, and I don't know how to explain it. And I can't find the words to explain it. And that hasn't happened very often in my life. It's just like it's a raw feeling you have with somebody and most of the time it doesn't last. It's just like, and maybe that's when some people have affairs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's that quick raw. Everybody knows everything about everybody, and they wish it was different. And so I don't know. It's just like like a burst of honesty and like a pure raw something instinct. I don't know what that word is, but this is kind of what that movie is.
Mm.
So like she shares things with him that she doesn't tell Lee, and he's so smooth. Like he quietly challenges her to be her true self, but he also disappoints her like time
Hmm.
after time. And she's just like, he breaks her heart in a different way than you expect, than you think he's breaking her heart. I love how these two characters who are sexually challenged really push themselves to explore their feelings. Like there's no timidness. This is who I think I am. I feel comfortable with this. I'm okay being queer. It's a beautiful movie, and the queers
Wait,
don't
who's
die.
queer?
I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say. We have to watch the movie.
This is
So
the weirdest
I
recommendation.
know. So the trigger warning, like some queers get beat up, but they don't die.
Okay.
So there is that. But happy ending for queers. Hmm.
Well, that's
And I
good.
love it. Like people aren't afraid to be queer, and they're not afraid to be around queers. So this was such a delightful movie in that respect. Yes, there were gay bars, and when the cops came,
Hmm.
everybody turned off the music, everybody got quiet. They paid off the
Yeah.
cops, the music came back on, and everybody danced again. So,
Hmm.
that was the way it was. I really did like this movie a lot. But also, here's something, I went down a rabbit hole because there's a scene where Julius and a coworker drive out to the desert to party with a ton of people, and he's confused, like, why are we here? We're in the middle of nowhere. Why are we
Hmm.
here? So everybody starts yelling, and there's a countdown: 10, 9, 8, 7. And he's like, well, what the hell is going on? And all of a sudden, boom, off in the distance, a nuclear bomb goes off. Because
Oh
like,
no.
yeah, they're at the Nevada test site, and every month people go down there and watch the bombs go off because they don't know it's like bad.
Oh
Off
my
in the
God.
distance, they just see it go, they just like party around this bomb.
All these people that died of cancer
Right. Like
later.
later in life, they probably all died. But yeah, like, and so I did a lot of research on that because I'm like, I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh my God, nobody knew back then, they didn't
Mm-mm.
know. But anyway, it's a very good movie. Good acting, like stellar cast, like absolutely stellar cast. I will see that movie again for sure.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, yeah, so I will talk to you after we're done, and I'll
Okay.
tell you, we'll have a more in-depth conversation, but I do highly recommend it.
Nice.
Yes, it's very nice. So that is my official recommendation. What is your recommendation for this time around?
So this time around, as I said, I was picking up books. I was putting them down. I was like, what am I possibly going to be able to recommend? I was looking at what's coming out soon. I was like, I don't want to read those books either yet. And then I remembered that I bought a book and I went into that backlist, the to be read list on my
Ah,
Kindle.
okay.
So laugh all you like about that. For once, I went in there and grabbed a book because when I read it, I was like, God, I got to remember to read this. Because the reason why I have so many damn books on my Kindle is that I forget. I'll buy something and then
I
it's
did
like
forget.
shiny and then go off to something else. But I remember first hearing about this and going, "Oh man, I want to read this." I actually paid for this book. This is not a reviewer copy. Most
Oh,
of the time, I'm reading reviewer copies, but I was so curious, I paid for it. So this is called Die Curious by Aaron Branch.
and I would spell it for the people who don't know how it's spelled.
Well, DI. So it's a play off of By Curious,
Okay.
but it's a Dungeons and Dragons, like a tabletop gaming, like heavily themed to that. And
Okay.
so, dice, die,
Ah, okay. See, I would have known that.
cute, right?
I was thinking DIE, like death, die, curious.
No,
See? So that's good. So
no. Although,
see?
if you roll badly enough in the right situation in Dungeons and Dragons, your character
Well, yeah,
can die. That is true.
right.
This one, of course, there's two leads. One of them is June. That's who we start with. It's told in the first person, alternating between the two
Mm,
perspectives. June is a Dungeons and Dragons influencer. She, has her YouTube channel. She kind of has all kinds of things that she does with it, but like she's known for this particular character that she plays, who is a bard, which if you don't know with Dungeons and Dragons, it's not like they don't hit really hard like a barbarian or a warrior. They're not like the strongest magician, but they kind of they're a support class. So they really help everyone else be better, and they can do some pretty cool shit on their own too. And she is moving home back into her parents' basement. And even then, she only has a few months because they're selling the house. So they've said, you need to find your own place in a few months. But it's because she broke up with her boyfriend and has moved back to her hometown. And she's gotten hired to produce, like, if she can have live play content, which means like being able to go online and actually watch people playing a game, then she will get money from this. Like, this could be one of the important ways that she can make some of the money that she needs for a down payment for an apartment. And she gets kicked out of the celebrity and group that she's been a part of. And so she's kind of like, oh God, what am I going to do? But she's been invited to a barbecue with her old friend group from high school. She's probably 27, 28. And so she goes to this barbecue and talks to one of her old friends about the problem. And they're like, well, why don't you come to our gaming group? And so it's the group that she was playing Dungeons and Dragons with when she was in high school that, she fell in love with the game back then. But her old best friend, Nova, is just totally ignoring her. And she's like, well, how do I make this right? Nova is an author. Nova published a book, like a D&D kind of themed book, and some assholes online tried to pan it and then say, has this person even played D&D in the first place? And she did it under a pen name. And so what June doesn't know is that when she did a video about this book that had the author even played D&D, she was actually hurting her old best friend, Nova. June's trying to get to know Nova all over again. Nova doesn't want to talk to June because June ruined her life. She lost her agent. She lost her contract.
Oh, wow.
So what can she do? Well, she's still part of the gaming group. They're starting up a new campaign specifically for June and her channel. And she decides she's going to get revenge in the game. So even though her character flirts with June's character, and then it just starts getting kind of weirder and more confusing because it's like, well, I'm going to get revenge, but we're flirting. Oh no, June is being nice to me. And like June thinks, oh, it's because I pushed them away. This is why we're not friends. And so it's this like, it's really cute, Kris. Like I know that's probably not the best, clearest kind of explanation of it.
It sounds like, cute doesn't sound like this.
So because it's kind of one of those like, I'm so mad at why, oh no, she's pretty. But I'm so mad at her.
Still mad at you.
Oh no, she brought me my favorite meal. She took the time to ask somebody to know what my favorite food is. But I'm still mad at her. Oh God, she's really pretty though. And she smells nice and she's nice to talk to. So it's like that
her
kind
hair.
of. So I picked this one up and it was just so easy to read. It was so easy to get into their voices and who they were as characters. And there was a lot that I appreciated about it being in the first person. Sometimes I love them, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on like what the author does with them. In this case, I think some of the representation stuff that they do is really good and really interesting. Nova is neurodiverse, which, as somebody who also is neurodiverse, was something that I really appreciated. And so, one example was when Nova is talking to the DM, and Nova uses she and they pronouns. So I'll probably go back and forth between the two, but is not sure about this whole, like, can I actually play this game? Can I play this with June? Like, I don't, and is feeling replaceable. And the DM, so the dungeon master, which is like the person who is actually running the game, the person who is kind of in charge of the story for the game, says, Nova, you're not replaceable. And this is where I think it really stood out for me. My heart lifts a little at his words. You're not replaceable. I went through my childhood feeling like I spoke a different language than everyone else. Only in college did I seek help for what I thought was depression and realized I wasn't depressed, just neurodivergent and trying to function in a world not designed for me, like a computer running a different operating system. Autism and ADHD. The diagnosis had been both a grieving process and a key to freedom. And when I read that, I just thought, like, damn, that is so good. because it's very similar to the experience that I went through. I'm trying to think about how long ago it was. Like, I thought I had anxiety. I thought I had really bad anxiety. And what I
Oh,
actually had
okay.
was undiagnosed and untreated ADHD. I think there is something to that like it is so freeing. And yeah, grieving is a huge part of that process. And seeing somebody just say it like that so simply and so beautifully,
Mhm.
I really appreciated. And then with June, she grew up in a religious family
Ah,
and her family is still
similarities.
religious, which again is like, okay, so we got half of me on one side, we got
I
half of me on the other side.
know. So you're really relating to this book.
Uh-huh. And so, we learn she was with her ex for a long time. He wasn't good to her. He wasn't good for her. But there were all these expectations based on like heteronormativity and her parents being in the church and the expected gender roles of like what women are supposed to do for men. And it was interesting to see her really struggle with some of that. And we see her parents too. Like her parents at one point try to tell her that, well, you need money. Why don't you go apply to be the social media manager for our church? And she has this like kind of freezes almost, but it's such a valid and fair response. Like, I'm sure there are people who are going to read it that are going to think, well, just tell them to fuck off. And it's like, well, that's not how that happens. When you've been
Right.
raised in that environment,
Right. Yeah.
when you've been raised to be a people pleaser and you don't know how to say, this is what I need, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. So again, that was something I also appreciated seeing on the page. And I was a little concerned at points. I was like, oh God, how far are we going to get into this? Is this going to hurt? And thankfully, no, I didn't feel like it was too much, but it was still good to see. And she does have a moment where she really kind of takes her power back with her family that I thought was lovely. And I
Good.
really appreciated it. The other thing that was kind of fun, because I didn't know that this was coming, but there are actually scenes in the book that are told from the perspective of, when I say the characters, I don't mean just like June and Nova, but like June's D&D character.
Hmm.
So instead of like just describing what happens with all the people sitting around the table, the author decided like we're going to write scenes from Oz's perspective as she's moving through the story of the game, which I thought was
Wow.
kind of cool. And
Hmm.
so it was like, oh, we got a little two stories in one story. I like this very much. I thought that was great. And honestly, I loved the idea of getting revenge in the game. So June decides to, when she creates a character, she creates a paladin because paladins often have an oath of some sort and they have to follow their oath. They cannot break it. And so this idea that she created this like unbreakable oath of I have to get vengeance on you because you
Oh,
fucked over
yeah.
my writing career.
Oh, yeah.
it just worked. I mean, the thing that I love about this book, the characters were great. I thought there were also other moments that were just so like they were small, but they were so conscientious and I think so perfect for these characters in this world. Like when June is trying to get to know Nova again, June shares her pronouns and asks Nova for theirs.
Oh, that's good.
Right? And I even loved some of how June described it as a response and said, my gender is don't perceive me, which is something that they say as a joke. And then say, I'm just kidding. If only it doesn't bother me to be called she, and that's more accurate than he, but it feels like putting on a shirt. Inoffensive, but not intrinsically a part of me, the way I hear other people identify with womanhood or manhood.
Hmm.
And I just thought like there's something kind of lovely. And then a little bit later down says, I'm non-binary too, and even though I'm not a woman, I still resonate with lesbian because of the history of gender nonconformity in that culture. And so I think just this like real clarity of like Nova being able to articulate that and having spent the time to understand like what their relationship is with their gender and with the queer culture at large. I thought that was lovely. They have a quick conversation about STI tests and when they'd had them most recently, which
Oh, okay.
I
You
love
love
it when that
that.
happens.
Yeah, that's your jam.
Be safe teaching the kids. This is great because the schools aren't doing it.
That's for sure.
Overall, I thought, there's a little bit of angst in there. I'm not going to say there's none. There's a little bit. But overall, it was just so cozy. And I mean, I'm also a tabletop gamer. I've been playing
Right.
D&D on and off for 20 years.
Damn.
And it was lovely. It was exactly what I was hoping for. When I looked at the cover for it, and I definitely encourage, like, go find the book. If nothing, well, buy it and read it, please. But if nothing else, at least go check out the cover. I saw it and I was like, oh, that is so cute. And it's so cozy. And I am really glad that I read this one. I believe this is her first book.
Wow.
And I hope we're going to see more books from this author because I just had a really great time. So it's called Die Curious by Erin Branch.
Nice.
That is all for this episode. But Kris has her finger up, so I'm going to cut myself off.
Yes. So 2 things from your chat, because you said June, and I totally forgot to talk about The Handmaid's Tale. It's done. It's over.
Holy shit, it happened? You can
it's
finally
over. It's
breathe
done.
again?
Yes. So it's done. Like the whole thing is done. It's done. It's over.
It's over, and now we live in it.
It's done. Now we live with it. So we have closure with that. So now they have this whole thing 5 years. So 5 years in the future, they're starting filming the testaments. So I just wanted to throw that out, that like we're done with The Handmaid's Tale. Yay. So there's that. And then secondly, so I went down a really weird social media rabbit hole today with one of my coworkers. My parents have a weird history, like who they are, like where they came from, all this stuff. So somebody who I used to call my uncle, who really isn't really my uncle, but extremely religious, I haven't talked to them in 30 years, 40 years. Well, I'm not that old, but it's been a while. And so I had to look up one of their kids. I looked up because I was trying to find him. I was like, oh, I wonder, because there's a part of me that thought he was queer. I just thought he was queer. I don't know why I did, but I thought he was. So I found his mother's page, and she has a bunch of videos posted from GodTube. Like
what?
YouTube. There is a GodTube.
Of course there is. Listen.
Of course there is. Right.
Listen.
No.
There has to be, so they can protect themselves from the devil that's in YouTube.
I know. I was just like, what? And then my coworker was like, what? And I go, there's a GodTube. I go, check it out.
But are you really surprised? Did you not ever notice? Well, maybe you never got into it. And I did, because I was like literally in the church. If you look at Christian music, they basically just rip off all the styles of secular music. And so Christian and country are pretty similar, actually. Maybe rock is a better example.
Christian rock.
Yeah.
There's been
R&B,
some Christian rocks. Yeah. Wow. That's like, but GodTube. Like I was, what?
Because that way they can control what content I suppose any social media network can control what content is on there, but they want to control it to keep it very specific to a particular type, we'll say.
So just reminding me, like you talking about that brought up those 2 points that I wanted to bring up real quick before we finished out this. So anyway, I'm done. So if you want to connect with us, reach out. We're going to put a bunch of show notes, or we're going to put a bunch of links in the show notes that we discussed earlier in this podcast. Or you can just email us at podcast@queerlyrecommended.com. Again, happy Pride and goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.